Here are the top posts from relationships on the 14th of October 2019.
The Doodlebops. I, 17F, think my mom, 51F, has an eating disorder. Should I talk to her about it? History Kraken. Oh wow, this is such a tough one. I think it's definitely worth trying to have a conversation with her. It might be a good idea to plan ahead what you want to say to her. Maybe you could say something along the lines of, "Mom, I love you and I'm really worried about you. I've noticed that you haven't been eating and you've been speaking really harshly about yourself. It's really hard to hear you talk about yourself like that. I really think you should consider therapy. It might be a good idea to research therapists who specialize on treating EDs ahead of time so you can have their contact info ready. I think there are also nutritionists who specialize in helping people with EDs too, but that might be later in recovery. When you talk with her, I would use 'I feel' statements. E.g., I feel like you're risking your health, or I feel worried that you aren't looking after yourself. Don't get bogged down in arguments about whether or not she's fat. You won't win that argument as she's not thinking rationally, or what is not healthy to eat. Keep the conversation about your concerns for her physical and mental health. Talk about how much you care and how worried you are. Getting her into therapy is the goal here. I will say that she may never choose to get help for her pretty blatant eating disorder. Recovery is hard and scary, and she's seeing a distorted image of herself right now. You can't make her look after herself, as heartbreaking as that is to accept. My mom has some pretty hefty mental health problems, including minor disordered eating, and no matter what I say to her, she will not even accept she has themes here. You can, and should, look after yourself. Disordered eating is learned from our society and from our families. Even without realizing it, you may have picked up stuff from your mom. I would strongly suggest going to therapy yourself, if only to process your feelings about her. It's also a good idea to begin to notice self-critical thoughts, especially around food, and try to challenge or interrupt them as you make an effort to not judge other people for their bodies or their food. Hey, we all do it sometimes, but it's not good for us or the people around us. Check out Kristin Neff and Brené Brown. Brown is a researcher who specializes in shame and empathy, and Neff is a psychologist who specializes in self-compassion. Both have loads of stuff online for free that can help you rethink your relationship with yourself and others. You can also share this stuff with your mom as well if she would be open to it. It might also be useful to check out Captain Awkward too. She's an advice blogger who specializes in coming up with ways to manage complicated and difficult situations with loved ones. There might be some scripts she comes up with that you could adapt. Alpha Canically. You're 17, and I know that feels like you're really grown up and you're ready for adult responsibilities. But the reality is that you're 17, and she's your mother, and there are some responsibilities that are unhealthy for you to take on. This is definitely one. Is there any adult in her life you can talk to instead? Is she a single parent? Do you have any grandparents or aunts in the picture? Are you close to any of her friends? Does she spend time with any of your friends' moms? Does she go to church or anything? Can you call her GP? Or if you see the same GP, can you get an appointment and express your concerns? Your mom needs help, but so do you. It's not healthy for you to try and take on this burden on your own. You can be part of helping to support her. Absolutely. But there really should be an adult who is closer to her equal that can take the lead here. Now, for you, you should see a therapist as well. Ask your GP about getting referred to a nutritionist and ask how many calories you should be eating. And make sure you're eating enough. When you grow up with a parent who has an eating disorder, it rubs off on you even if you don't know it. There's a very real possibility that you're under-eating just because you learned that by example. I had a mother sort of like yours, and when I was 24 I nearly ended up hospitalized because I was active and not eating enough. and I realized that I've spent my whole life under-eating. I ate 3 meals a day, so I thought that was enough. But when I actually track my calories, it's a good 400 lower than it needs to be. There are still times when I have a hard time eating enough. I'll feel hungry and be frustrated because I've already eaten so much, then look back at the day and realize I've barely eaten anything. I'd spent my whole childhood being warned not to eat too much and given overly restricted portions. I never realized I was being underfed, but I was. I don't try to lose weight. I don't think I'm fat, but I've spent my whole life under-eating and have completely lost my natural ability to recognize when I've eaten a healthy amount and have fully satisfied my body's needs. Althcats 11235. I'm so sorry, Op. This is not an easy position for anyone to be in, much less having to address it with your parent. That said, I would tell your mom that you love her, and that these changes in her behaviors related to food concern you and that you're worried. Is there another adult you and your mom are close to, like a relative or family friend, who could support you in this conversation and situation as well? I think that it is important for you to have support as well. Good luck, Purple Heart.
Throwaway 49U90 2039. My 29F boyfriend 31M cheated on me for the first time. Decided to give him a chance, but now he's more insecure and wants me to reassure him that we're okay and that I still love him. Monsieur. I read it. Wait, you've only been dating 6 months. He's cheated on you already, and you want to give him another chance. Woman, have some self-respect.
Not falling down. He's making a decision to seek out sex from a stranger at a truck stop would have been an instant deal breaker for me. No going back. This is not better than cheating with someone he already know. And he's probably worse. He says it was the first time. But you don't really know that. You can care about him as a person, and still decide that you are unwilling to accept behavior that puts your own health at risk. You have been together only 6 months. If I were in your shoes, I would end it now. No going back. And get full and comprehensive STD testing right away. Our little cupcake. 6 months? And you're still staying? Lord, give me strength. Berserk Barracuda. How do I convince a friend to not like me like that? Feed a villain pink sheets. After this long, his guilt-tripping and emotional aggression is a red flag that you need to reevaluate your entire relationship with this person, even as just a friend. A real friend wouldn't have put you in this position, especially with your past trauma. My advice is to start taking the steps to keep this guy at arm's length, or further, as soon as possible. You deserve to surround yourself with people who care about you as you are, and not as how they think you should be. Crazy bitch girl. You can't. He has girlfriends, owned you. In his mind you will only ever be a potential girlfriend. You are not in his mind his friend. He will not accept your friendship, even after something terrible happening to you. He does not respect you as a person enough to give you space. Hell, he becomes aggressive with you because you won't change your mind. Your relationship with him is unhealthy and it is not going to change. It would be healthier to end your friendship for both of your sakes.
Lordiscake. I had a friend in high school that had a long-term crush on another friend in our circle. What he never did was become aggressive or emotionally frustrated when my friend turned him down. He eventually moved on when they went to different universities. You cannot convince someone to stop crushing on you. What you need to do, if he starts showing unhealthy responses to your careful replies, you cut them off for your own safety. Because soon, it'll escalate and then you'll have yourself nice guys on your hands. You can meet at a public place with another close friend who's sitting at a distance, if that makes you feel safe, and tell him in simple and straightforward terms. I do not feel romantic feelings for you and I hope you meet the right person for you, but that is not me. I'd like to stay friends, but I think it's better we aren't, so that you can get over your crush on me. You do not apologize for him feeling bad or for you not returning his feelings. He needs to learn how to react to rejections without making the other party feel like they owe him anything, because they don't.
DJM 2491. Me, 28M. With my newly dating, 27F, less than 2 months, have been having protected sex. But she has an incurable STD. Now she's saying that is safe to have unprotected sex.
WWOtello. Well, the medication for herpes greatly reduce the risk of spreading it, but it's not zero. Herpes does not pose serious health risk. I would still keep using a condom if you're not planning to have long-term relationship with her. Edit. I just went and look at the chance of spreading it. It is mostly contagious during episodes, but it seems to be 1 in 1,000 normally, and 1 in 2,000 with the pills.
Kamikaze. Aside from that, in our general conversations she mentions 3 to 4 other guys that she is on and off with and actively having unprotected sex with. Well then, the STD she already has is irrelevant. She's not a safe person to have unprotected sex with regardless, because of her risky behavior with other partners. She mentioned that we don't need to use the condom after a couple times sleeping together. Why not? What will change after the first few times? This isn't how responsible sexual health works.
Tsukasa Himura. There is always a small chance. Nothing is 100% guarantee. You don't have to switch teams, you just don't sleep with her. There is safer sex and it is smart you insist on using condoms when used correctly. Condoms prevent unplanned pregnancy and STDs.
Krangis MC Basketballs. Just realized I, F23, rejected 2 kisses from a guy. M24. I really like. How do I come back from this?
Skeleton. Use your words, not your hints. Tell him something like, I've been thinking, and I realized I'm kinda into you. Would you be willing to go on a date with me on X date to do Y thing and we can see where this goes? You can modify that in various ways, but that's the gist.
Toss out 7878. Stop hinting. Tell him you like him and you want to date him, monsieur. Stop waiting for him to make the first move so you can blow it again. Tell him straight up how you feel and what you want and watch the magic happen.
CPTN Hawk. If you're interested in him, ask him out instead of waiting for him to make a move. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.